Hello! Allergy Possible presents Something From Me Cuisine, delicious recipes for food allergy families. Every time my daughter comes home from school with a birthday party invitation, I'm really excited for her, but I'm also equally filled with anxiety due to all of the potential food hazards that could be present at that party. For example, the snacks that may be served, the meal that may be served, that usually consists of pizza at a children's birthday party, so that causes my gluten, dairy, wheat alarm bells to start ringing. Also, the cake or cupcakes that could have peanut butter in it. A lot of kids love peanut butter. Could be cross-contaminated with other nuts. Don't forget the party favor bags. Those are usually bursting at the seams with a whole array of candy that my daughter just isn't safe being around. So if you find this struggle to be true for you as well, you're not alone. And that is why I've made this video, so that you and your child can have a safe option at a birthday party, a Christmas party, a barbecue, anything, any kind of an event where you want to have food to look forward to enjoying too. So without further ado, I'm about to show you how to make perfect party pizza. Okay, so I have all of our ingredients out, and now I need to get a bowl so we can start to mix this and make it happen. I tend to get a medium to large size bowl to start mixing my dry ingredients.
The dry ingredients are 1.25 cups of brown rice flour, 1 cup of oat flour, 1/4 cup of cassava flour, 1/4 cup of potato starch, 1/2 cup of cornmeal, 1 packet of active dry yeast, 1/2 tablespoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum.
Have a spatula. Okay, so the first thing I do is I pour the whole 1.25 cups of brown rice flour into the bowl. Then I move on to adding in the cup of oat flour. Next, I do the 1/4 cup of cassava flour, not quite sure how to pronounce that. I think you can say it however you like. And here's the 1/4 cup of potato starch. Let me give you a little inside tip here. So potato starch and xanthan gum that you'll see shortly, those two ingredients act kind of like a gluten replacer. So they bind the baked good that you're making so that it's not crumbling and falling apart. It kind of gives it an elasticity. You do not want to go overboard and put too much in the recipe, because it'll then be like rubber. And if you don't put enough, obviously it'll end up being crumbly. So you're gonna have just the right ratio. And in this one, the ratio is 1/4 cup of the potato starch. And now we're gonna toss in, this is 1/2 cup of cornmeal. 1 packet of active dry yeast, and now we put in a teaspoon of baking powder. That's going to help this to rise. And as I mentioned earlier, here's the teaspoon of xanthan gum, which is going to combine with the potato starch we already included in here, and it's going to create that elasticity effect. And here is a half a tablespoon of salt. I'm using a pink Himalayan salt. You can use sea salt, whatever salt you like. Okay, so now that is all in there, all good. We're gonna just kind of gently mix it up with the spatula. Nothing fancy here. I'm just trying not to get it all over myself. Okay. I'll come a little closer just so you can see how nice this blend looks. See that? Ooh. So I'm gonna keep mixing that. My stomach, I'm not gonna lie, is grumbling right now because it's getting a little beyond lunchtime and I'm starving and I know what this pizza tastes like, so I'm craving it. All right, let's go. Keep blend it really good. I keep seeing some cornmeal sitting on the bottom here, so I want to mix that in really good. Okay. All right, that's done. So now the next step is you're gonna have about 1.25 cups of water, and you're gonna add about 1/2 teaspoon. You could go up to a teaspoon of honey to that water and kind of just stir it in and try to get it out of that spoon. It's holding on for dear life. We can revisit that in a minute. What I'm gonna do is put the water in the microwave, and I usually put that in for only 35 seconds because if you overheat this water, it's going to kill the active dry yeast that's in our bowl, okay? The water needs to be lukewarm so that it will activate that yeast. If it's too hot, it kills it. So we don't want to kill that little yeast party in this bowl. My daughters both love talking about the yeast party, like how they're about to be alive. We gotta give them a little bit of that honey in the water to get them all happy and full. So, yeast, you're about to get your snack. Perfect timing. Okay. Feels just right. I've done this many times. I've even done like almost like the, like a baby bottle, the baby's bottle of milk or formula or whatever you choose to feed your baby. I've tested it on my wrist and I know it's just the right temperature. It's just not too hot. So I'm going to mix that water because of that honey. I'm going to go ahead and put the spoon that had the honey in the water just to kind of melt off some of that honey that's left behind. So that way our yeast will have a delicious honey water feast. And that will cause the yeast to swell and bloat, which will in turn cause the crust to rise. And I'm not overly concerned about the crust rising because I also had put that teaspoon of baking powder, not baking soda. I'm not overly concerned with causing the crust to rise because the baking powder will kind of help with that. I have the yeast in here more so for the flavor because without that yeast, it won't have that like bread flavor. So you could make it without it, but it just will not be as good. All right, so I'm gonna pour this in. Just slowly. I poured like about half of it, and I'm just gonna start to mix that, just so I'm not flooding it. Put that down. All right, now I'm gonna pour some more in. Make another 1/4 of that. All right. Close again so you can see what's happening here. It's starting to mix together, but you can see there's still some like powdered some substance there. So I'm going to add the rest of that water and go ahead and continue to stir it. Okay. Okay, here's the rest of that water. And if you find you've added all that water and it's still just too crumbly and powdery and you don't have enough moisture there to like completely mix it, you could like cheat and add just like a little bit more water. Sometimes I do that. Because sometimes, you know, you might have just slightly had a heavy hand when you were pouring the flour in, or something like that could have just shifted it a little bit. But this is actually starting to look really good. Whoa, dough's flying. But it's looking good. Got a little more flour at the bottom. I'm just trying to work in. I'm gonna add a little more water. Let me just grab some. I'll be right back. I don't use the tap water. Okay. Purified water. I'm back. Add a little bit of that in. Not too much, just gradually so it doesn't turn into soup. You don't want pizza crust that's soupy. Put some elbow grease into this. It's really not that hard, but I'm just trying to get it mixed up. I likely speed through this and fast forward it in the video. Okay, that's looking really good. Okay, here we go. Showing you again. This is where we're at. It's looking really good. It's not gonna completely look like a normal pizza dough crust like you buy at the store where it's all like hard and tough and all together. That's okay. That's not what we're trying to do. Okay, so we've mixed the dough. Next, I'm going to get some avocado oil is what I use to grease my pan. You can use whatever you normally grease the pan with. You might find normal butter safe for your family or avocado butter, and you could use that, or whatever oil, like even olive oil. The olive oil I stay away from because we're going to be baking this at such a high temperature that the oil will start to burn if it's olive oil. So I shy away from that for the bottom of the pan. While I'm saying that about the oven, that reminds me, let's preheat the oven to 525. After all of my experimentation, I have found the most delicious pizza. It comes out best when I cook it at the highest temperature that my oven does, which is 525. At that temperature, everything, it just bakes perfectly. Nothing's mushy and sloppy. It's just really the perfect temp. Get a nice crispy crust. Okay, I have my oil on my paper towel, and I'm just gonna coat my pizza pan with that. I finally recently invested in an inexpensive pizza pan because for a long time I was just lining an aluminum pan, like baking sheet, with aluminum foil and greasing that. But I finally was like, you know what, I want to have a round pizza and get like super fancy so that we feel like we've got like takeout pizza. Those little things that just make all the difference. So I greased that. I'm also going to grease the bottom. Okay. Grease the bottom underneath just so the little pieces of crust that sit through those little holes in here don't stick to there. Whoops. Okay. Now, voila. And I don't stop there. I also grab some cornmeal and I just dust the bottom of this pan as well. So the combination of the avocado oil or whatever oil you choose to grease your pan with, combined with cornmeal, will prevent it from sticking to the bottom of prevent the pizza from sticking to the bottom of the pan. I'm just trying to be careful so I don't pour a whole mountain of cornmeal, because I've done that plenty times. Alright. That side, kind of just Yeah, I think that's a stay put. Well, I can brush it around. Okay. There we go. Brushed a little bit with my hand. Now, you can go ahead. I'm just gonna move my pizza so I'm in the middle there. We don't need this, so I'll get this out of our way. Okay, this is better. So now, I'm going to dump the dough into the pan, or onto the pan. So it's, like I said before, it's not like a traditional pizza dough, so you're not gonna be like stretching it and tossing it and putting on a whole little show for the kids. You're just gonna spread it out, and I try to start from the center of the pan and the center of the dough. I just use that spatula, and I try to be a little gentle so I don't tear it. And if I do tear it, I just kind of plug that and patch it, okay? So I just keep working my way from the center out, and as you can see, another part I might speed up in this film, you'll see it start to expand out to towards the edge of the pan. That's what we're trying to do. Okay, I'm back. Doesn't this look great, if I do say so myself? All right, now, next up is we're going to mix up all of those ingredients, the ingredients to coat the crust, so that just the edge of the crust, not the whole dough, just the edge. We're gonna make it delicious with the olive oil and seasoning mix that we made. I just drizzle the olive oil seasoned mixture over the edge of the crust, and then I kind of like spread it out just with the spoon, or you could use the spatula. My husband often uses he has like a silicone brush, but he eats gluten and wheat, so I just never feel like I can get that utensil clean enough, so I don't risk it. So I use the spoon, and it works. Oh, it's so good. I think it looks good. Okay. Next, it's time to add some sauce. I just use an organic tomato sauce. I don't do anything to it, and it tastes delicious. Tastes just like pizza sauce. So I go ahead and just pour some in the middle of my pizza. Begin to spread it out from the center, not spreaded. You spread it out from the center, and for once, I actually poured just the right amount for what we like. Wow, it's my day. Okay, go all the way to that olive oil border. Then done with that. Then I begin to scatter on. I do a mixture of vegan, whatever your favorite vegan brand of cheese is. That's what I do. I have 1 part vegan mozzarella to 1 part vegan cheddar cheese. That combination is just so good on pizza. Every time I make it like that, my daughters just go, "Oh, the cheese is so good this time." So they love when I do the mixture of the 2 different cheeses. So we'll just start scattering that. Okay. A little more in the bowl. I want every morsel of cheese because I love cheese. Not gonna waste that. Okay, this is looking great. All right, kind of just mix it a little so it's good. And we have everything here. So at this stage, You can put any toppings you'd like. There are oftentimes I load this pizza with onions, peppers or spinach, sometimes zucchini, olives, like whatever you like, you can put on this pizza. Today, just for simplicity's sake, and just because I know a lot of children just want a plain cheese pizza, that's what I'm doing. But you can jazz it up any way that you desire. So now we're ready to put this gorgeous pizza into the oven. And I set a timer for right around 20 minutes. You can glance at it at that point, like just turn the light on in the oven, try not to open the door, look at it, see, does it look like it's close? And you can keep it on a little longer if you want. Everybody's oven's different, so you'll have to adjust accordingly. This pizza that we've made is gluten-free, wheat-free, dairy-free, nut-free, egg-free. It's free of so many allergen ingredients. It's safe for my family. I really hope it's safe for your family to eat. If not, if there's ever an ingredient that I use that isn't safe for your family, please feel free to swap it out and substitute it for something that is safe for your family. Anytime I come across an ingredient that isn't safe in our household, I just go online and type it in and see what other alternative ingredients we can use. That has saved me many a time, and it's easy enough to do, and thank heavens for the internet, right? So, are your appetites ready? Are you sure you're hungry? Are you sure? Because it's time to take the pizza out. Check this out. Doesn't it look incredible? Yum! We're going to let the pizza stand for about 10 minutes. That gives it enough time to cool down a little bit so that it'll be easier to cut and the cheese won't be sticking all over the pizza cutter. And then we'll be able to try out our first bite. Time to cut the pizza. Go right across the middle. Time to take a slice. Might stick a little to each other because they like being friends. All right, and plate it. See the steam coming off of that still. The moment of truth. I'm gonna try it. Mmm. It just never disappoints. Whenever you get that craving for pizza, just because you can't swallow, just because you can't have gluten and you can't eat out at a pizza restaurant or you can't eat the pizza at a party, doesn't mean you have to miss out. You can have this delicious pizza and bring it wherever you need to go.
One more helpful tip is that once the pizza has baked and has been sliced and cooled, you can then place it in freezer storage bags in the freezer. And that way, if at some point an unexpected event pops up, like a birthday party, a field trip, a day trip, whatever the event may be, you will have our delicious meal already prepared and ready to bring with you. You'll barely have to lift a finger.
I really hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Something For Me Cuisine. I really want to help your family to feel like you have options for foods that are safe for your family so that you will feel included, not excluded, at every function that you attend. Please come back, check back regularly. I'm going to be posting more recipes as I make them. Please also feel free to subscribe to my channel, to share it, like it. It helps me to continue to do what I'm doing. Thank you so much. Bye.